Well, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek a...
When people run out of substance, they just start talking to fill the silence, endlessly, pointlessly, and louder than ever. That's what happens when you tune in to The View. The panel doesn't speak for the average American anymore. They speak to each other, locked inside a bubble of applause and self-congratulation. They sneer, they interrupt, and they act like anyone who disagrees is a villain. And sitting at the center of it all, like a self-crowned monarch, is Whoopi Goldberg, the daytime queen who spent years controlling the conversation, silencing anyone with a shred of dissent, and passing off her opinions as unshakable truth. But every empire eventually collapses, and one live broadcast changed everything. When Karoline Leavitt walked onto that stage, no one realized they were about to witness Whoopi Goldberg's iron grip on The View unravel in real time.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
It all began like any other morning. The smug laughter, the rolling eyes, and the perfectly choreographed agreement among the hosts. You could almost predict their next line before they said it. Whoopi leaned back, exuding that usual confidence that's kept her throne intact for decades. The conversation turned to their favorite theme, wokeness. The panel loves this topic, clinging to it like it's the moral compass of civilization. And right on cue, Whoopi leaned forward, smirk plastered across her face, and lobbed a cheap shot at Karoline. Without wokeness, honey, you wouldn't even have a job. The audience chuckled nervously, unsure whether to clap or cringe. But the air suddenly changed. Even Joy Behar, usually all in on every leftist punchline, stiffened. Everyone sensed this was about to go somewhere very different.
I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good.
The tension could have been sliced with a knife. What came next wasn't your standard back and forth. This wasn't a playful disagreement. It was a calculated hit. Whoopi wasn't challenging an idea. She was belittling a person, dismissing Karoline's career, her credibility, and everything she'd accomplished as nothing more than a byproduct of the very ideology she opposed. The audience responded on autopilot, clapping just because that's what they always do. But the energy was off. Some faces in the crowd betrayed it. An unease, a recognition that Whoopi had gone too far. Karoline didn't rush to defend herself or throw a punch back. Instead, she smiled, calm, controlled, and quietly confident. That smile wasn't arrogance. It was the sign of someone who already knew she was holding every card that mattered.
Statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her quote on-air snub proves that you know who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then the moderators are probably biased. And
then Karoline began, slow, deliberate, razor sharp. No fluff, no theatrics, just facts. She started laying out federal spending data, the kind of hard numbers that aren't up for debate. She exposed how taxpayer money was being dumped into absurd projects disguised as progress. Gender identity workshops overseas, activist-driven educational programs that had nothing to do with education, and foreign outreach campaigns that pushed social ideology instead of helping people. She connected the dots with precision, showing how this endless obsession with wokeness had mutated from a social cause into a political weapon, one used to shame, silence, and control. Each example hit like a hammer. You could see the audience processing every word. And for once, Whoopi had nothing to smirk about.
Disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economy.
Whoopi Goldberg, the master of interruptions, the queen of smug retorts, was now visibly rattled. Her usual tricks weren't working. The trademark laugh, the sarcastic one-liners, the dismissive tone, none of it landed. She shifted in her chair, trying to maintain composure, but her hands gave her away. The control she'd maintained over that stage for decades was slipping through her fingers. Normally, she'd be steering the exchange, cutting her guest off with practiced ease. But Karoline didn't give her the opening. Every attempt to jump in was met with composure, confidence, and clarity. The power dynamic had flipped completely. And for the first time in a long time, the audience of The View was seeing Whoopi Goldberg backed into a corner, live, unedited, and unable to escape.
I've seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and all of this other
Watching it unfold was like watching the curtain fall on a long-running act. Whoopi's responses came out jumbled, shallow, and defensive. Gone was the polished performer who could twist any situation in her favor. Instead, she sounded like someone trying to talk her way out of a mess she created. And the worst part? It was all happening in front of millions. How does someone so obviously unprepared, so clearly unable to handle genuine discussion, continue to dominate daytime TV? Maybe it's legacy, maybe it's inertia. But whatever it is, that moment showed the truth. Whoopi Goldberg had stopped being a host years ago. She had become the brand, and that brand was cracking under pressure.
You know, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Right.
That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to.
Then, the internet did what it always does. Within minutes, the clip of Whoopi's stunned silence was everywhere. Memes, reactions, edits. The entire exchange was dissected frame by frame. The once untouchable host became the punchline. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Whoopi's career over the past few years has been one controversy after another, tone-deaf remarks, bizarre defenses of indefensible behavior, and an unending string of scandals that have turned The View into a PR nightmare for ABC. From comments that offended entire communities to arguments that sparked public outrage, Whoopi had become a lawsuit magnet. And Karoline's appearance didn't just add fuel to the fire. It blew the whole thing open.
They talk at you, not to you, and that's what she was doing, and she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the trail.
Let's rewind a bit. Carrie Underwood, remember that name, had been one of Whoopi's earlier targets. After performing at Trump's inauguration ceremony, Carrie was mocked relentlessly on The View. Whoopi and her co-hosts didn't just critique the performance. They launched into full character assassination, implying that supporting a Republican president made her toxic. The mockery was brutal, personal, and broadcast nationwide. But Carrie wasn't about to sit quietly and let it slide. She filed a $1 billion defamation lawsuit, and when the case finally went to court, everything changed.
This program yesterday, Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Karoline.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
No, you cannot be attractive and smart. I will try to give Joy the benefit of, oh, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her up.
Court documents revealed that the entire attack on Carrie wasn't spontaneous at all. It was planned. Emails showed ABC executives had greenlit the entire segment as part of a deliberate effort to stir outrage and spike ratings. It wasn't an off-the-cuff moment. It was a strategy. When that truth surfaced, the entertainment industry went into shock. ABC scrambled to contain the fallout, eventually settling the lawsuit quietly for a massive undisclosed amount. But the story didn't die there. Instead, it raised a far bigger question. Had The View become too toxic to protect?
I have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran for Congress?
in New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of...
The hits kept coming. Next on the list, Elon Musk. When Musk took over Twitter, Whoopi and her co-hosts launched another coordinated smear campaign, labeling him as dangerous, unstable, and a threat to free speech. It was reckless, and it backfired hard. Musk filed his own lawsuit, and once again ABC found itself in a courtroom, bleeding money and credibility. The network's biggest advertisers began pulling back, refusing to be associated with the never-ending controversies. The once unstoppable ratings juggernaut was suddenly a liability. The lawsuit stacked up, and The View, once a cash cow, was turning into an anchor, dragging the entire network down.
She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job.
And in the middle of all this chaos stood Karoline Leavitt, calm, poised, and unshaken. She hadn't gone on that show to pick a fight. She'd gone to tell the truth. But by standing firm, she exposed everything wrong with the modern media echo chamber, the hypocrisy, the arrogance, and the fear of real conversation. In an environment built to humiliate dissenters, she flipped the script entirely. That single exchange didn't just embarrass Whoopi Goldberg. It showed millions of Americans that even the loudest voices in media crumble when confronted with calm, unfiltered reality.
Yeah, I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here. Oh, yeah. Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation.
After that, there was no saving Whoopi's reign. ABC tried to spin her exit as a temporary break, but everyone knew the truth. She was gone. The lawsuits, the controversies, and now the viral humiliation had finally caught up to her. The advertisers weren't coming back. The viewers were tuning out. The View, once the untouchable giant of daytime talk, was now limping, weighed down by its own arrogance. Karoline Leavitt didn't just win a debate. She pulled back the curtain on an empire built on manufactured outrage. And as the dust settles, one question remains. Did we just witness the beginning of the end for The View?
Reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our...
Whoopi Goldberg thought she had another easy day on The View until Karoline Leavitt showed up. When Whoopi mocked her as a product of wokeness, Karoline calmly hit back with cold, hard facts. She exposed how taxpayer money fuels woke programs and left Whoopi completely speechless on live TV. The internet exploded, and suddenly Whoopi's decade-long control over The View began to crumble. Subscribe the channel for more content like this, and also like the video. That is, for now I will catch you in next one.